if a superpower were planting the seeds of its own decline, right, it would paralyze the global economy with the certainty of uncertainty. It would erode confidence in the reserve status of the dollar. It would discard due process. It would defund scientific and medical research. It would sabotage advanced chip making, and it would grow the deficit until debt service becomes the largest expense in the federal budget. And that is America in 2025 under Donald Trump. But I feel like we're in a dangerous place.
So what do you do as a lawmaker? You're a Democrat, you're a lawmaker. In theory, you're in the arena. What role can you play to get us out of this?
Well, first we have to, I have to resist. So take Medicaid. There's no congressional district in America that has a greater stake in Medicaid than mine. 67% of my congressional district is enrolled in Medicaid. In my district, more than 70% of children, more than 80% of nursing home residents, more than 90% of baby deliveries are covered by Medicaid. And so I have to spend much of my political capital fighting this unprecedented assault on the social safety net upon which the Bronx is heavily, heavily dependent. The largest employer in the Bronx is the Montefiore Health System, which employs tens of thousands of people and depends heavily on Medicaid. And Medicaid matters not only to districts like mine, but to blue states and red states, urban communities. And
you saw Josh Hawley, a Republican senator from Missouri. He's well aware of the majority of his constituents love Medicaid or rely on it.
And it's, Medicaid is not only health insurance for the lowest income, it has become long-term care for the elderly and the disabled and
Ritchie,
the chronically ill.
Both my grandmother and my wife's grandmother, the end of life care that they needed, we couldn't have afforded without the help of Medicaid. Both instances.
So, I feel Medicaid is every bit as vital to senior citizens as Medicare. Like in New York State, the elderly and the disabled account for 20% of the enrollees, but make up 60% of the expenses. And so an attack on Medicaid is ultimately an attack on the elderly and the disabled.
Right.
And that's the case we're making.